Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Fantastic. Um, in 2015, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. In the same breath, my medical oncologist told me that my cancer had spread to my spine and femur, that it was incurable, and I would be in cancer treatment for life. She also said, "You may not realize it now, but you might find that you're happier in your life." I'm here to tell you, she was right. There are moments in our lives when we are forced to confront a shift, when who we are can no longer bear the weight of who we're becoming. A shift preserves the self, even as we transform. It is motion with direction, a rotation toward the truth, toward clarity, toward a more honest version of who you are and what you want to do. When feelings of uncertainty arise, we often go quiet. It's easy to bury uncertainty and pretend it doesn't exist. I've done it 1,000 times. But what I've come to understand through my life and through my work, from the performing arts to healthcare, is that the most powerful changes don't begin with action. They begin with vocalization, with naming what's inside, even when it's scary. Because the moment that we give something language, we create the power for it to exist and evolve. All right, let's fast forward 6 years, my first big shift. I joined Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, the hospital where I am a patient, but now I was on the other side. I was running clinics for 3 gastrointestinal medical oncologists. Working alongside Dr. Luis Diaz, MSK's head of solid tumor oncology, his fellow at the time, Dr. Mike Foote, and his nurse, Carrie Gallagher, would prove to be a career-defining shift for me. In this clinic, I gained a mentor, a cheerleader, and a best friend. And honestly, I thought I'd peaked. At the end of every clinic, we would sit down together and we would review every patient we had seen that day, the decisions, the next steps, the progress, and the setbacks. And as the only non-clinician in the room, I was given something rare: the opportunity not just to ask what we were doing, but ask why we were doing it. At the end of one clinic, Dr. Diaz said something that stopped me. He said, "If we're going to cure cancer, we have to be willing to say it out loud." It wasn't the ambition of this statement, it was the permission. And not just the permission, but the demand. Say what you want to accomplish and be unapologetic about it. Declaring something before it's real can be scary and terrifying and electric. And if we fail, it hurts. But that failure teaches us something. It allows us to grieve, mourn, recalibrate, and begin again. So why not say it out loud, whatever it is? Because if we're not willing to say it, we probably won't do it. Let me ask you, how do you know when the voice in your head or the anxiety in your heart is a bellwether telling you that you're meant to be somewhere else, somewhere that you didn't map out? You know what? Let's go back. Before the shift, the one that got me working in healthcare, I was a talent agent in New York City for 17 years. It wasn't my career, it was my identity. And as you can see from this very intricate graph, I had found my purpose: helping actors find work and being their ally. But what this graph also shows is that over time, my purpose began to fluctuate drastically. And it was a long time before I would listen to any of these signals. I represented actors for Broadway, television, and film, and one thing about them that I've always admired about my clients was their ability to withstand the word no. An audition can last 10 minutes. 10 minutes. One audition can change the trajectory of a career. Now, mind you, most don't, and the actor moves on and goes to the next audition, and it's that. It is their willingness to show up and repeatedly put themselves in a position where they're putting their talent and their livelihood on the line and into the hands of someone else's judgment and opinion. That kind of strength of will needs to be studied. And my clients handled it with grace and humility and courage. But what defined them wasn't just their talent. It was their persistence. And as their agent, I matched that persistence. Advocacy wasn't my career. It was my calling. But over time, something inside of me quietly shifted. It's not that my purpose had changed per se, it had plateaued. You see, there's a difference between pushing through something and moving on. Cancer is and has been a monument in my life, but it's not the end. It was an invitation to reframe everything, to focus on a new vision, to listen more closely to what was calling me forward. It was really important for me to own that my hardship wasn't a detour, it was data, and that my hardship wasn't punishment, it was information. See, within that headspace, I had a choice. I could stay or I could move. I chose to move. And at that, I thought my big shift was done. I had started over at 40 and started a new career. I fought, and I mean fought, for an entry-level position in the hospital that saved my life and changed my life. But what I didn't see coming was that MSK was going to be one sentence of a new chapter. It pushed me to go back to school, get my MBA, dual MBA and MS in healthcare leadership from this very institution. It encouraged me to hone my leadership skills, expand my way of thinking, and take ownership of the career that I want in healthcare administration. The highs have been so high, and the lows have been so low. So I invite you to say your purpose. What is the big, scary, empowering statement that is sitting in your gut? Say it out loud. Not everything is about finding a cure or changing the world. It's about finding where your purpose meets the moment and finding your words. There is another quote that sticks with me that comes from Dr. Karuna Ganesh, another GI medical oncologist I work with. She is a brilliant scientist, researcher, clinician, and a trusted friend. We were at dinner one night and we were discussing the rhythm of her workday. She talks about after she sees patients in clinics, she leaves us and walks directly towards her research laboratory. And within that time and that transition, that walk, she often comes back to one question. Where's the gap? I love this question. It's not just about having all of the answers. It's about being strong enough to recognize that there's something missing. This question has shaped my own work. I'm not curing cancer, but I do work in the delivery of care. And every day I ask myself some version of, where's the gap? Because naming the gap is not just about identifying a problem. It's allowing that there's room for discovery. That the gap, what's missing, That's your canvas for what's possible. So now that you've thought about it, you've thought about your purpose, ask yourself, where's the gap? Because real change doesn't begin with what's obvious, it begins with what's missing. So I'll leave you with this. I'm about to be 46, and I have another career shift in front of me. I'm leaving Memorial Sloan, the place that saved me and opened and revealed my new purpose. But I'm going to Brigham and Women's in Boston. I'm chasing a new opportunity, an opportunity that wouldn't exist if MSK hadn't been quietly pushing me in a direction and toward a shift that I need, that I never saw coming. So say it, whatever it is. Say your purpose out loud. Fill that gap. Don't be afraid. Say it in this room, say it on your walk home, say it in the shower tomorrow morning, because the shift isn't the scary thing. It's staying still when every part of you knows that you were meant to move. You don't have to have a cancer diagnosis to recognize that you have permission to rotate. You just need the courage to say it out loud and take one step. Not all the steps, just one. So, what are you going to say out loud today? Come tell me. Thank you.